I recently started DoorDashing to make some extra money on the side. I run a full-time eBay business, but the summer was a little slow. So on days where it was slow, I did some DoorDash to make up for it. I do DoorDash at night. My shifts I did were usually from 8 p.m. to 2 a.m. At this time of the night, you get paid more, but it's also very sketchy and scary at times. I DoorDash in a decent area for the most part, so I don't get creeped out usually, but on this night, I had a scary encounter. It was about 1:30 in the morning, and I got an order to go pick up someone's food. I picked it up and started heading to the house. When I read the notification that the person wanted me to hand them the food, I'm thinking, oh great. At this time of the night, no DoorDasher wants to hand someone the order. I've heard a lot of scary stories from delivery drivers almost getting attacked or worse, so I hated doing this so late at night, and I wish I could leave at the door. But I figure it was nothing, and just went along with it. I did text the person confirming that they wanted me to hand it to them. Then they sent me a text back saying, I'm home, doors open. Immediately, I start to get creeped out. Why would this person say doors open? Did they want me to put the food inside their house or something? I felt weirded out, so I just sent them a text saying I'll just knock. Still though, the thought that someone was cool with some random person opening their door to come in was weird. Maybe they were just meaning that I'm home and that's it. I try not to think about it. I finally arrived at the house, and I grabbed the food and started heading to the door. At that point, I had my hand on my knife that I kept in my pocket just in case. I walked up the driveway, and when I arrived at the door, I knocked a few times. After I knocked, I had to wait a bit, but then out of nowhere, a woman comes from the left side of the door and appears at the front of the door. But as she's facing me, she has the most sadistic, scary face on her. It was like when someone tries to fake smile, only hers was absolutely terrifying looking. I'm honestly surprised I didn't flinch or anything. She opened the door and grabbed the food and said thank you. I headed back to my car, looking behind me to make sure nobody was behind me, and luckily, nothing happened after that. I will never forget how this delivery scared me, and the scary, evil smile that the woman gave me. I'm sure she was overall a nice person, I hope, but it was still the scariest delivery I made and not sure why she came to the door with that face. I've been driving with DoorDash for about a month now, and I drive mostly at night. Last night, I got an order to be dropped off in a sketchy part of town, and I could not find the address. I texted the customer and he was less than helpful. He was being really condescending and seemed more interested in messing with me than in me delivering his food. When I texted him that I was leaving, he got mad and started calling me names and swearing at me. He said he was coming outside to find me, but after him texting me all of that, I didn't feel safe at all. A $6 hamburger was not worth it. As I started to drive away, a white SUV got right behind me. It was weird because I was in a really dark neighborhood with no one around, and this car seemed to appear out of nowhere. I started driving back to a busy part of the city, and the white SUV was still behind me. I prayed I was just being paranoid. Was this the guy I had just had this weird interaction with? I lost the SUV in traffic, but felt sketched out. I was still on hold with DoorDash support, and they were still not answering. I was now in a different part of the city, and this white SUV is behind me once again. At this point, I really started to panic. I've been followed by a stranger before, so the chances of me just being paranoid were pretty high. But how would I be able to shake this car off in traffic just for them to find me again? It didn't make sense. I lost them in traffic again. I finally realized, oh shoot, I'm still on the DoorDash app. I'm still connected to this order. If this is actually happening, I'm being followed. This guy can see exactly where I am on the map. I pull into the grocery store parking lot and call DoorDash support again, but choose the emergency option. After a few minutes, they finally answered. I'm talking to support and explaining what had happened when I look across the parking lot and see the white SUV pull into the lot with its lights facing me. Then it backs out and starts driving to the lot where I'm sitting. I kinda lost it at that point. I'm glad there weren't any pedestrians around because I floored it out of the parking lot. I was begging DoorDash support to disconnect me from that order. The app wouldn't let me do it from my end. The support guy finally got the order removed just as I saw the SUV get behind me again. He followed me through the neighborhood until I lost him in traffic yet again. Once I was sure no one was behind me, I drove to another busy parking lot where I sat in my car and cried. Now it's the next morning, and my head is reeling. Calling the cops at this point seems pointless. DoorDash hasn't called me to see if I'm okay or even alive. Should DoorDash do more to protect drivers? Should I have done something differently? I'm definitely not going to be driving at night anymore. I'm a woman and I know that things like this happen. What would you do in this situation? Thanks for reading this. I figure if anybody can appreciate the scariness of this experience, it's my fellow drivers. I hope everyone stays safe out there. I've been doing DoorDash for a year now, and I haven't had any weird experiences, but the other night, it was a different experience. I was doing DoorDash last Friday night and found a guy laying on the ground next to my car as I was leaving the first restaurant. He apparently got jumped by 3 teenagers and had his wallet stolen. It was really scary to see because that could have been me if I had walked out to my car a few minutes earlier. The guy was okay, and the ambulance and police arrived on the scene. He wasn't coherent of what happened and didn't know why someone would do something like that. Just wanted to share so that we all know to keep an open mind of our surroundings when we are alone at night doing DoorDash.